G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a two-shot submachine gun with 25% faster fire rate and +1 agility, major and minor legendary effects respectively. We're going for a very bullet-stormy approach to a stealth commander today. Not only will we be firing 2 shots every shot, we'll be firing them faster, and we've got a magazine size of 62 with the large quick eject drum. So we can fire this thing for days. Hopefully the recoil doesn't throw off my aim all that much, but if it does, I've always got VATs to, I guess, give me extra accuracy and not have to worry about aiming this thing. Might be a decent thing for boosting the DPS if I can get my bullets hit by the game basically playing itself, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Right now we're doing 39 damage with the hardened receiver. Definitely not the most powerful weapon there is in the game, that's for sure. Got tank killer and concentrated fire because VAT's usage for this weapon feels like a good idea. I generally don't go for ground pounder with these weapons because I've got a huge mag size, but it might be a little bit better in this situation because the 2-shot makes the accuracy kind of crap as it is, but we'll have to, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I suppose, and of course we'll chuck on Bloody Mess to boost the damage even more. I've got Covert Operative and Mr. Sandman, so we're going to have a massive sneak attack critical multiplier, so that 72 can do a little bit better than what you might think out of just seeing it outside the gate, but yeah, it's not all that impressive, is it? The fire rate, however, being at 107 is higher than most fire rate weapons being at 98, so that's helpful. Okay, so here we are at This Is Where the Fun Begins, and we're dressed up as a Silver Shroud once again because, you know, I feel like it works. The look works with this, and Chameleon Armor, not bad. Most of this stuff is AP regen. I won't scroll through them because you're just gonna have to take my word for it, and here are my mutations. The Chameleon Armor is okay. I actually prefer using the Unyielding because you can gain all of the benefits out of the, what's it called, the perks. I like when I'm shooting at something and not being able to aim at them. That's fun. Looks like the recoil isn't too much to manage, so, you know, if we're in super close range like this, maybe reaching out to medium range is a bit of an ask, but we can deal with our enemies quite well using this. Nice. Okay, good. It means I won't have to use VATs, which it'll be more engaging for me at least because I have to actually put effort into where my bullets are going. But as you can tell, using these dank sneak multipliers, we can kill them quite easily. Whether I'm actually doing the right amount of damage is up for Fallout 76 to decide. Let's get some, I guess, long-range action happening because you can see right there I was hitting him back over by those tires for only about 68, so, you know, this thing's range isn't the best, which, you know, I kind of get it. It's a submachine gun. It's not firing rifle cartridges, so there's not a lot of powder behind it, and the bullets are kind of fat as well, being 45 ACPs, which I guess it's what they are in this thing. There might be like 45 long Colts and combat rifles because they've got that big old magazine. You kind of have to suspend your disbelief. Much like how I'm thinking that you don't put 50 BMGs, the big Browning 50 cal rounds. There you are. I was wondering where you went. In the pipe bolt action, I'm thinking you just chuck on some fucking deagle rounds in there, which, you know, will equally break the bloody thing in half by firing it, but it's a little more believable than using something like a 50 BMG and the old junky pipe gun. But as you can tell, if we are at a super long range, we can just tap fire this thing like we're using a ASVL back in Battlefield 3 to kill our enemies, and since we've got a sneak attack critical carrying us, the multiplier, we'll be right. Okay, since this first room is kind of hard to clear out if they're all shooting at you because they can see you perfectly through the grates, whereas it's a little bit hard to see them through that, so, you know, +1 enemy perception if you're going through the grates there, but there's a lot of lines of sight where they can possibly gun you down. We're in danger now. Well, I wanted to save this for later, but now we're just going to spray and pray everything, and I know it's not explosive, but whatever. Look at that accuracy. This is probably, if I'm running it like this, definitely use ground pounder because we're going to have to be at point blank range to actually hit anything here, which is a shame. See, the problem with that is we don't have the true barrel and true stock like most of the weapons in this game to actually increase that hipfire accuracy, so you're kind of over-relying on ground pounder there. And even so, it will never be as good as like a 2-shot handmade where you do have the access to those attachments. It's kind of odd. I feel like the submachine gun in and of itself is neglected because still the light barrel that you attach on it actually makes it heavier. Yeah, figure out how that one works. Actually donate it might give you a migraine, but seriously, they didn't even add the new barrel system to it. A lot of people think that they are kind of useless, but I beg to differ. I feel like there's plenty of use in true stuff. If you want to attune the thing to use VATS a little bit more, if the recoil is too much of a problem, you use aligned or stabilized respectively. You do that. So that's not all pointless. Perhaps on a pipe revolver it's a little bit much because there's nothing... I don't think there's much benefits to chucking something other than true on because you want that accuracy for the VAT shots anyway. The AP penalty will far be outweighed by the extra accuracy that you get off the bat, but you know, for most guns, you know, some of them kick a little bit harder. Like the combat rifle, for example, it kicks like a mule on Psycho buff. So you kind of want to, you know, reel that in a little bit with the aligned stuff or stabilized, but I prefer using aligned stuff because it makes the recoil pattern nice and makes it nice and vertical, which is a lot easier to contain when it's, as opposed to it bouncing around everywhere. Talk about being outflanked here. That's okay. There was only the one guy on this side. But we managed to pull through okay. We've got Adrenal Reaction doing us pretty well here. Nice. Is that under-leveled, though? It is not. A little bit of a decent drop here. That's helpful. Thanks, Bethesda. Too bad it's a multi-purpose axe. See, it's always one thing. You get a god rolls on a shoot weapon like that, but you know what? I can't complain. That's not terrible. And we're done just in time for us to move on, and the armor's healed itself, doing 168, which is a hell of a lot of damage than 107. I might just keep my health at this rate. And at this point, I probably switched to unyielding armor, but I don't have it on me, and I'm too lazy to go back to my camp and grab it, so we'll just have to make do with Chameleon, I think. Alright, always keen for a nice showdown with the tools, and this time I'm going to be running in here like another Fallout 4, Fallout Universe comic book hero, but this one's going to be Grognak, so we don't know what sneaking is because we've got a submachine gun and therefore don't need to sneak. Don't worry about the suppressor, that's not supposed to be there anyway. Any moment now they'll start pouring out the front doors. No, there's a whole lot of nonsense going on over here though. Ah, they're trying to lure me in. Clever tools, clever tools. Luckily for me, though, I've got that mysterious health regeneration happening. Here we go. As you can tell, the bullets are doing an okay amount of damage. It's not a whole lot more than what you'd see out of firing this normally, but if we can get both of the hits on, we get a decent improvement in damage. But the trick is actually getting the hits in, and aiming down sights is definitely what you want to do, but make sure you're only aiming down sights for, you know, a little bit of time, because what happens is if you're aiming down sights and you slow down, it makes yourself very easy to hit for these guys. Luckily, I've stood myself in the corner here, and whilst the camera wants to dance around like that, I managed to take out the target before they got around to jumping and biting and scratching and hitting me, so that's nice. Not sure whether Tank Killer is more effective with a two-shot weapon. I feel like if it is, I feel like it might be with the extra projectile going down range. You might actually do yourself a little bit better. And you can totally just panic fire this, as in like just hold down the trigger when something's near you, and you can get away with that because of the magazine size. So, you know what? In all things considered, this is not actually a terrible run here from the tools. I feel like there's still a little bit more to go. Won't push the sneak button, even though muscle memory was commanding me to do that. Okay, here's trouble when we start getting crippled in the legs. Apparently apparently a lot of the ghouls are a no-show this time. That's happened twice in a row, but we're done regardless, so we'll move on. Tell you what though, pre-patch this weapon would have been slapping hard because you get an extra 100% damage from the extra projectile, which, you know, would have killed him so much quicker, about half the time. Okay, time to destroy the crabs again. Yeah, okay. It appears from about that range this thing becomes completely unusable, and you kind of have to tap fire it all the time. What if I totally just spam the trigger like this? I can actually break the weapon. It stops it from firing. Maybe I shouldn't do that. That's some weird server latency shit. Yeah, don't do that in third person. It's definitely easier to control in first person for whatever reason. Might be due to FOV. Totally useless grenade out there. Hopefully I won't get a crab kill in the crossfire. There we go. We'll creep in nice and close and just spray it down with some mediocre hip fire. Yeah, that'll do it. Alright, looks like we've got some doggos hanging out at the train yard smash today. Yeah, bless your little cotton socks, this is going to be a crazy run here. And what we might do here, instead of, you know, just blitzing them all, really thought I would have had him there, is I'll just use this thing in bats a little bit, just to see what kind of accuracy we can get. Obviously at point blank range we'll be laughing, but as we get a little bit further out maybe, I mean, we've got concentrated fire giving us it's picking up the slack very quickly because of the Firerate legendary effect, and obviously the submachine gun doesn't take up a lot of AP per shot anyways, so, I mean, you can get away with it, but you'd be better off with basically any other prefix, except for executioners. That's terrible. I'd rather have 2-shot than executioners, because at least with 2-shot you're getting the damage benefits all the time. We've drained the AP bar by sprinting over here, so I guess we'll just give him a little bit of this. That'll do. So in terms of a close range shredder, the massive spread on it might make your aim a little bit worse or a little bit better depending on how skilled you are, but you can definitely get away with just hosing stuff down provided you've got the bullets to actually feed the thing, and that's kind of the main, I guess, opponent, a main obstacle when it comes to using this thing, is basically you'll drain your ammo quickly, because not only will you be shooting very quickly because of its inherent legendary effects, but it doesn't do a whole lot of damage by itself, so in order to kill enemies you'll be using more bullets for it, and when you're not getting sneak criticals it's going to suck a little bit. We use VATS a little bit here, we'll see what we can do. Yeah, that's not impressive at all. I feel like I was only hitting about half the time. That's a little bit weird when it comes to 2-shot. It's calculated slightly differently. I think hits are far less consistent. Probably would be better of me to aim down sights when it comes to this, but there's something aggroing all of these assholes out here, so... I mean, yeah, if you want to see a range performance like this, you'd be better off with basically anything else. Oh, is that a scorched mole rat? That's really fun. Thanks, Fallout 76. Yeah, I feel like this only has slightly more range than what you'd see out of a shotgun, especially when you're using that zeroing on a target, which is obviously not easy to hit anyway. That is definitely a mole rat, and it is scorched. Oh, God. I mean, I'd rather see it here than in a Scorched Beast Queen fight, but fuck me, it's annoying. Like, it's one of the noises that I hear and I get visibly annoyed. Not visibly annoyed, but it fucks me off so much. Just get out of here, you fucking rat cunts. Definitely not fun doing that. We're not getting any benefits of this. There's some rubber banding health bars, because the tools showed up to just give me more trouble. But now we're actually getting sneak criticals. We were for a second there. Or rather, that Scorched Beast was actually in range. Come on, Escape Artist, do your thing. Oh, it couldn't, because mole rats. This game is actively trying to piss me off right now, it seems. Not cool, Bethesda. Not cool. Fix your fucking game. I could yell that into a mic all day. They're not fixing it. They're not doing anything for it. Yeah, it appears that I'd be much better off with my unyielding armor, because I'd have a bunch of extra perception for accuracy boosting and a bunch of agility for, you know, pissing it away as I'm pinging at a target that is way out of range of this thing. But I've made it work somehow, except for the part where I died. But don't worry, we'll just edit that out. But yeah, it's not a very spectacular weapon, honestly. I'd script this thing. Hello, Murmur, have your crap, but I'm full script on this character right now, and I'm too lazy to transfer it to another character and do it that way. Hang on, when's the sale? It's in like 2 days or something. Shit, I better actually hurry up here, but... Anyways, there you have it. It's not a very particularly impressive weapon. Is it interesting? That's up to you, I guess. The submachine gun in this game, for the most part, is kind of inferior to most things. Although it can produce a sleeper out of a bloodied Firerate one, but you'd be better off with a fixer or a handmade, so what's the point of actually using submachine guns? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. There's your homework. Thanks for watching, guys.